Good morning, hi from Australia. My name is Chrissy, and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 2nd of March. Now, I do regular readings because sometimes the energies can change, and as we know around the globe, things change pretty dramatically. But today I'm just going to channel my guides through to you, and we'll see what messages come through. So stay watching to the end because there might be a message in here for you, and we'll just get started. So I'm getting like visions and rays, like visions of hope and sort of rays of sunshine. So they're kind of showing me like when you look up at the clouds, and I think they call it the fingers of God, don't they? When the sun comes like beaming through and it gives you that sort of feeling of hope and warmth. That's the image that they're giving me this morning, is that feeling of hope and yeah, definitely that warmth as well. That's an image that I'm getting. And they're saying that like without hope we have nothing. So you have to keep that hope alive in people. It's very important moving forward. Because if we don't have that hope, we go into fear and dread and these kind of negative energies. And they're very strong and powerful energies that can really pull us into sort of some dark tunnels. So you want to keep sort of looking and reaching for the light in this journey that we're going through at the current moment. That's a very important message that's coming through. Just keep looking and keep aimed and your vision on that light. Just keep that hope alive inside of you, because it's very important this day of the 2nd of March. Now, I talk a lot in my videos about trains coming into the platform and trains leaving. If anyone's watched my predictions for earlier in the year, I talk a lot about the platforms and the trains pulling up at the station, and of course a lot of the trains leaving the station. But I'm getting visions of a lot of that again, and I'm getting that some trains are returning to the platforms and people are alighting, so they're getting off. People have decided they're not the measures that they want to have implemented into their life. So they're actually getting off the trains. I remember a while ago I had visions of people hanging on to the rail, like the train, but having one foot on the platform and one foot off on the train. So they were sort of in between. But I feel like now a lot of people are really trying to stabilize themselves and they're putting both feet on the platforms again. So I feel like there is this shift. There's an enormous shift going on now, where this was a small minority group, but now it's becoming a majority group. And I know we thought we would never see that day happen, but I think people are starting to realize that this is not about vaccines anymore. This is about what we want moving forward, and people want freedom. I keep saying that, but people want freedom. They're tired of being dictated to. They want their lives back. They want their health back, and this is what's happening. People are now putting 2 feet back on that train platform, and they're starting to make their decisions for themselves instead of being directed and guided and told what to do. People are starting to stand up and make those decisions for themselves. So that's something really important coming through today, is that people are now starting to not be in two minds. They're starting to actually move towards what they really want. And that's a good energy. That's a really good energy that can give us a lot of hope as well. For anyone who's out there fighting for freedom, that can give you a lot of hope. Like I said, a lot of people have been standing up in the last few months, particularly around different countries, Germany, New Zealand. Gosh, so many have stood up. Now they're showing me like the capitalist perspective. So when it comes to capitalism, there's always just someone looking down on everyone. And that's the vision that they're giving me, is this dictatorship. And it's very uncomfortable for the masses. Now, they're showing me the vision of like China marching. So you've got all these people marching in perfect synchronization. I don't know if anyone's seen those videos lately of that come out of China, but they are perfectly synchronized. I must say, he has them trained to, sorry, everybody's exhausted to a T. Now, but over here, you can see this person like looking down over everybody else who's trying to sort their lives out over here in these democratic sort of countries, and they're all like falling to the ground. They're all sitting down. They're all being stubborn. They're not amused. They're shaking their heads, and there's like all this chaos. So over here, you've got the capitalism where it's all very structured, and they're doing as they're told. And over here, and this is around the globe, you've got people just all bedraggled and just, but they're doing it on purpose. They're being stubborn. They're digging their heels in, and they're not conforming at all. In fact, they're showing that there's nobody marching, as in regimented marching. I don't mean freedom marching. I mean that dictatorship kind of marching where you're all just like soldiers and robots lined up. That's not happening. This is just all a big schmozzle. People are just doing like almost the complete opposite of that. And that's the vision that they're showing me. So, and by doing that, that's how people stand their ground and have their say, because they don't want to be repressed anymore. I have noticed myself that there's a lot more to do with this. There's a lot more doctors and things that are starting to speak out now about the way they were targeted and the way they were silenced during the pandemic. So these are the examples of the things that I mean now, that people are not going to just be dictated to anymore. I'll just see what else comes through. And I definitely get like this big giant word of fear, like fear, and even the prospect of fear going forward is not sitting well with a lot of people. They don't want to wear fear as a badge of honor on their chest anymore. People are kind of ripping that fear off and chucking it in the trash can because they don't want it. People are sick and tired of living in this fear. And that's all people. That's people who are really into the virus, people who are freedom fighters, people who have lost their job. Everyone has had a gutful of fear of losing their jobs, fear of where the economy is going, fear of all this. And now we've still got fear because of this great reset that's been kind of hovering on the horizon. That's putting fear in people as well, because it's kind of like, do we have any say in our lives? And that creates a lot of fear. But people are ripping that off now, and I think people have realised that they have nothing to lose, and that's why there's so many people now putting their 2 feet on that sort of train platform and grounding themselves and starting to make their own decisions, because they are realising, and this isn't a few people, this is en masse, that if they don't put a stop to all this, their freedom will be gone forever, and they will live a constant life in fear, and it is not what people want. People have to remember that during these pandemics too, that a lot of people were coerced and they were forced, in order to get your freedom back, you will have to get these jabs. And that's a lot of people. I know here in Australia, I talked to a lot of people who wanted to travel overseas, and now all the green passes are so different, it's made it a nearly impossible thing to do. Plus there's so much unknowns. If you get locked down in that country, you're going to get stuck. So this is why people are starting to see the truths of where their life could be headed, and they do not like it. So, and these are double vaxxed, boosted, these are all walks of life, young, old. People are starting to open up to the actual truths out there. I mean, this is how insane it is. Here in Australia, we're having massive floods at the moment. Up north, it's not affecting me, but it's affected an enormous amount of people. Their houses are completely under, and people went to help volunteer with doing sandbags, like for the SES, the people that help people out during a crisis. And they said the requirement, like this is outdoors in a major flood situation, and you had to be vaccinated. Now, if that is not total insanity, leave me some comments below what you think about that, because that's the world gone completely mad. When it comes to saving lives and you're unvaccinated, you're not allowed to actually help here in Australia. So you couldn't get any nuttier than that. And these are the things that are causing people to actually kind of wake up now. Just the most ridiculous, and you can't even believe that they're still pushing these things on people, and their crazy agenda, which we kind of know is rolling out now. It doesn't make any sense. And they're the things that I said in my earlier videos, is that these are the things that wake people up. People need to kind of wake up on their own, at their own pace. But these are the kind of things, just that sheer stupidity and just nonsense is starting to wake people up, because they can start to see that it's not making sense now. It's sort of getting a little bit over the top ridiculous. And don't hide your feelings. If you're feeling emotional and you're feeling trapped in your emotional state, it's really important that you release it. Now, some people out there, I'm going to tell you now, you might need a good cry. Something that a lot of us haven't done for a long time is probably have a really good cry. And I know for you men out there, crying is something that you don't like to be seen doing, and you do hide away doing that. And look, that's fine. Do it in the shower, or do it when you're home alone. You know, some women don't like to cry much, but crying is a great release, because it releases a lot of that sort of toxic energy in our bodies, and it allows us to kind of clear any sort of cobwebs and gunk inside of us as well. So that's something I'm getting today as well, is to just have a good cry. Sometimes we need it. It can release a lot of tension in our muscles and this kind of thing as well. And another really good way of releasing some of our feelings is to have a great laugh. Now, sometimes when I'm having a bit of a day, I'll just put on, there's a guy here that makes videos, and I'm sure you guys would find them funny as well. I was telling someone about it the other day, called Aussie Man Reviews. And if you tap away, you'll find him. He's very popular all around the world. Everybody knows him. And he does the funniest little skit videos. They just make me laugh. Sometimes I just have a good gut laugh, and it just feels so good to laugh again. You know, to have strong emotions again is such a beautiful and wonderful thing. There's another guy called, I think it's Carl Vernon, and he does little short skits on YouTube as well. And oh, I laugh and laugh. He's just a naturally witty person. I think he's written a couple of books actually, and he's just so funny. So check them out. They're good for a good laugh if you're wanting a good laugh. And there's another one called John Talks on YouTube that I find really funny as well. So look, the message really is about releasing your emotions. Like, don't keep emotions trapped and pushed down in our bodies, because that's an unhealthy state to be in, because it makes us tight in the chest, tight in the throat if we're not releasing things. I talk a lot about that, talking to people as well. That's a message I'm getting today, is that you need to talk to people. If you know, sometimes when you talk about things, they don't seem as crazy and out of control, especially if you're talking to people that understand your thinking and your like kind. And that's something the guides are definitely saying, and they've been really pushing that this year of 2022. Have people around you that support you and understand the way that you believe, because we do all have different beliefs and thoughts, and sometimes we hide them and get them trapped away in our body, and the guides are saying that that's very unhealthy. You have to really start to put things out and sort of emote things now, like it's time. That's how we get to those healthier levels within our sort of spiritual being, or the way that we're feeling. Now, I'm getting that Putin is a very destructive man. He's destructive in many ways, though. Like, this isn't just about, and I think we all know, this isn't just about bombing and blowing people up and displacing them from their homes. This is a much bigger agenda, and I think we all have to be really aware of what we're being fed too, because as we know, in the last 2 years, we got fed a certain narrative, and we could also be getting fed a certain narrative about other issues as well. And that's just something that sort of comes to mind. The guides are saying, yes, Putin is a monster, but we're also dealing with sort of other mean-spirited monsters right around the globe at the current time. So, you know, his is on a different level, and it might be being portrayed with a lot of threat. So they're talking about the nuclear threats and this kind of thing. But we've also got to remember that a lot of people over here too, and particularly the ones that are the leaders in the reset, we know that they have very, very strong agendas that they are trying to enforce. So, you know, this is all about political gain and power, and I think we can pretty much get back to money. We know that's a definite. So that's something that we have to be aware of too. And, you know, again, it comes back to being very aware of the news and the information that you're being fed. Just really keep your eyes really open and kind of listen to your gut. Again, it gets back to that gut feeling. If you feel that's not making sense, well, then it probably isn't. It's probably true. So, you know, just listen to your own guidance and listen to your logic, because that's what's going to get you through these, definitely the next few months. But, 2022, what can I say? It's a very interesting year where a lot is evolving and a lot is going to take place. It's certainly going to be a year that we're all going to look back at and I think be really bewildered by. It's going to be, it feels like we're in this really dense, heavy fog and we're trying to come out of the fog into the clearing. And look, it is coming. You just might have to like put your high beam on, like when you're in a car and you're driving through a fog. You just got to put your high beam on and keep just following the road in front of you, and just put one step in front of the other as well, because this is going to be super challenging to navigate. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Subscribe to my channel, hit the like buttons, please comment. I love hearing from you guys. It's so nice to chat to each other and understand where each other's and what each other's rather going through, because it is really quite challenging, this journey so far this year. So anyway, I'll say bye from Australia and take care wherever you are. Stay really strong. We've got this. We just have to hold that line, and then, as the Canadian truckers would say, and keep going. Take care. Bye, everyone.